Hi, my name is David Phillips. I work here at Wick Hill as a Kaspersky Product Manager. I want to talk a little bit today about the Kaspersky Security for Virtualization product, which helps you to secure and implement a secure virtual environment. You may have already implemented a virtual environment, either desktops or servers, and you may or may not have already thought about security. I'd like today just to quickly introduce some thoughts around how you can better secure that environment. There are several misconceptions around virtual environments and how secure they are. The first one that I hear a lot is that virtual environments are inherently more secure than physical ones. Well, this isn't true. Malware doesn't distinguish between physical and virtual PCs. The second one I hear is that cyber criminals don't specifically target virtual machines. Well, they do. We've seen a couple of viruses over the past few years that have been designed specifically to attack virtual machines. And a third one, and this is the one I hear the most, is that malware can't survive the decommissioning of non-persistent virtual machines. Again, this isn't true. We've seen malware that's designed to leak across the virtual environment from host to host. So there are 4 options to securing your virtual environment. Hopefully the first one you won't be interested in, which is no security at all. The next 3 are traditional agent-based security, agentless security, and light agent security. I'll just run through those briefly now. With traditional agent-based security within a virtual environment, you would load the product on each virtual machine in the same way as you would in a physical environment. There are some pros and cons. The pros are that obviously you've probably got your security product in place at the moment. You can just load it straight onto that virtual environment and it will work. The cons around that are that it takes up a lot of space. You have to load that security product on each and every machine in that virtual environment. And from a malware perspective, if all the signatures are updated on each of those machines at the same time, then you will get AV storms happening potentially, which will slow down the environment and in the worst case, stop it. So moving on to agentless security. In this environment, you load Kaspersky Security for Virtualization on its own virtual machine as a single instance. This would then protect all the other virtual machines in the environment without a need for an agent. This gives us several advantages, the first of which is speed. You can get this up and running very quickly. The second of which is resource usage. Because you're not loading an agent on every single virtual machine, only on one, then you're not taking up space, you're not allowing for those AV storms. All the updates are done through that one secure virtual Kaspersky server. There are some downsides to this approach though. The main one being that because you haven't got an agent on each virtual machine, some of the security functionality and breadth of resources from a security perspective you can use are reduced. So having looked at agent-based security and agentless security and realised that they are at 2 ends of the spectrum, is there somewhere in the middle that we can position our virtual security that will enable us to have the best of both worlds? With light agent security, Kaspersky hoped to have achieved that. In this environment, Kaspersky is still loaded onto its own secure virtual machine, but we also introduce a light agent loaded onto the virtual machines. This opens up some advanced security features such as vulnerability monitoring, application control, web control, and device control. So the main advantage of light agent security is that we can get the best of both worlds. We can have the advantages of agent-based security by having a light agent loaded on each one of the virtual machines. We can then extend the security and include things like application control, vulnerability monitoring, web control, and device control. But we also get the advantage of agentless security by having one secure virtual machine with Kaspersky loaded on it, doing all the grunt work and the heavy lifting in terms of the security and anti-malware protection. So in summary, there are 3 main ways of securing your virtual environment: through traditional agent-based security, through agentless security, and through light agent security.